Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now into our third game. Of course, this is the GosuCup Asia number 2, being powered by GosuGamers.net and also sponsored by Gigabyte Mainboards, MSI Notebook, and AvaMedia. So thank you all for tuning in. We got one of the relatively big names in the scene. Of course, we are going to be seeing MiTH-Trust, one of the big Taiwanese teams. Oh, sorry, Thailand teams? My bad. Thai teams. That's the one. I was just like, oh my god, my brain is frozen. What is going on? Anyway, they're going to be facing off against...
Dota.
They are going to be facing off against MSX, who are a team, if I am not mistaken, mostly Japanese players, if I'm reading GGNet properly. It says that they're from most of their players are Japanese players. We are going to see Tamayo, Home, Sparked. We'll go with Spark because that's just easier to say than SPRKDZ. And then we've got Kobaruto and Neo Ltd. And of course for MiTH-Trust we've got SD, TNK, ABBA, Toys. Is that Toys still? No, sorry, it's not Toys. It's R5 and then LK as well. So there are a really good amount of players here. We're going to go straight into this game. I'll switch the overlay over. And hopefully we'll have some fun and see some interesting heroes. Perhaps in the previous game that we saw from MiTH-Trust, we did see a Magnus who was run by... Who was that? That was Bar was on the Magnus, I believe. And he,
yes, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, and he had a very fun time on that. Picked up a Mask of Madness, a Blink, and then a Battle Fury right at the end. Started cleaving the hell out of everyone, as mentioned by Etoilion. In chat, we saw a lot of cleavage in that game, which is of course very, very fun to see. So let's get into this one. Of course, my co-caster is 12th Doctor, who has been providing all sorts of expert analysis for these games, and we'll see how we go with this one. Should be a lot of fun.
Okay, first ban goes the way of the Radiant side. Anti-Mage, a ban that we have not seen for a while. In the first pick, at least, Anti-Mage out of favour since his legs got nerfed. MiTH-Trust again taking out the Dark Seer as their first ban. MSX reply with Naga Siren again, a reasonable ban for the first phase. MiTH-Trust are going to take out the Nature's Prophet. Last time they got first pick and they picked him up first. This time they don't want to risk giving it away to the opposition, so they've just outright banned it.
Yeah, so they're just not going to worry about that. Looks like MSK are going to pick up the Bounty Hunter. Of course, if you've been paying attention to the G1 League and some of the other leagues that have been running lately, Bounty Hunter has become quite a big pick for a lot of the Southeast Asian teams. Like, of course, IG and some of the other teams down there have been picking up Bounty Hunter because of the fact that he sort of accentuates your gold gain, given the recent buffs to the way that gold is gained from hero kills. So it's always good to have him around if you can. Also negates, in a way, some of those pesky heroes that can go invisible, like the Ricky, like the TA perhaps, and you know, it can just be a really nice hero to have on your team. So we'll see what MiTH-Trust are going to pick now that the Bounty Hunter is out. As we were sort of talking about pre-game, we saw that they did pick up that Magnus in the previous one, which is a little bit of an outside pick. I wouldn't say you see him hugely often, but the potential that he adds to a team, not only as a very very strong sort of carry, is the fact that he has those team fight skills, the initiation skills, and the ability to buff up his teammates as well. Looks like they're going to grab Rubik and Tidehunter.
Yep, two very solid supports. Tidehunter has great potential with his Ravage when he gets to level 6. Rubik, again, when he reaches level 6, able to steal opponents' abilities, but even before then, Tidehunter's Gush to stop people from running away so quickly. Rubik with Telekinesis and Fade Bolt to just deal a ton of magical damage to enemies. very decent start to their picks with their supports. Bouncing back the way to MSX, they now go into their reserve time. They've already picked up Jakiro as their support. Wondering now, are they looking for a second support? Are they looking for their mid, or are they looking for something else?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Of course, you can run that bounty hunter as your. I wouldn't call him like the hard carry, but he can definitely he can take that role if he gets a really good start. Of course, getting up all of those nice, tasty little items that you want to get with him, and he can be one of those heroes who'll come out of the blue and just start hacking people to death. In I believe it was in the raid called Dota 2 League. A few teams have been just full on countering him with almost every hero carrying dust, so that you can deal with him. But I guess we'll have to see if Myth are going to try and run a defense against Bounty Hunter like that. But it looks like they will grab the Queen of Pain as their most likely the mid hero. We did see Myth running Queen of Pain as the off-lane hero in the previous game, which is quite interesting. But a Shadow Shaman is now picked up for Myth, adding to their team fight potential.
Yeah, Shadow Shaman as well is similar to Rubik in a way, in that they can both be support only, or they can both go in towards that mid role. Shadow Shaman with his Shackles, the Hex, and his level 6 ability, putting down Serpent Wards, lots of mass damage, really easy to help take down towers, and they can change fights. Ban phase coming out now. First bans very quickly coming out from MSX. They take out Morphling, Batrider, and Chen. MiTH-Trust's response to that is taking out Undying, Windrunner, and their final ban anytime soon. They're really hating on the Undying and the Windrunner right now.
Carry.
So.
It'll be a carry hero, most likely someone like CK, I'm thinking. Because at the moment we've got... Yeah, we've got a lot of sort of various helpful team skills at the moment. Obviously, with Jakiro and Quap with their very large AOE skills, and Bounty Hunter with his track and the ability to roam around the map and get some ganks going. But no real hard carry just at the moment. In fact, from both teams, no real hard carry. So we'll have to see what comes out. Of course, Anti-Mage and Naga are both banned, so we won't see either of them as a carry for either team.
I think thinking about whether they want to ban out the Templar Assassin or not, only because they're not sure of where MSX want to run their Queen of Pain. If they are going to throw it mid, they won't pick up the TA anyway, and so Myth will be able to snipe it themselves. But it's now up to Popeye, the captain, to think whether they're going to ban it or not. Instead, they're going to take out the Lone Druid. So out goes that for their jungle potential. So, interesting to see what they come up with now for their fourth pick.
Yeah, so 3 of the, or in fact 4 of the main jungle well, I suppose 5 if you want to get technical, of the jungle possibility heroes have been taken out of the game so far. So I'm assuming we're probably going to see some sort of tri-lane with the Jakiro from MSX, but we just got to see what the next picks are from them. As you said, we've got either the Rubik or the Shadow Shaman to go in mid for MiTH-Trust, but I'm not it sort of depends what these next picks are. Pretty much everything is very much hinging on these next 2 picks from both of these teams. Like, obviously, you know, you're going to say that when there are 2 picks left, but in some context, you can really see what a team is going to try and do, and it's going to be an Earthshaker.
This is becoming very predictable now. They have the double fissure with Earthshaker's Fissure and Jakiro's Icy Path. They've got a Bounty Hunter, so that looks like they've set their mind on a tri-lane bottom with Queen of Pain mid, so they're just looking for a hero to go solo top now. And but MiTH-Trust, Bounty Hunter can do that as well. So they're looking just basically for some sort of semi-carry, possibly intelligence, possibly agility. I don't think they'd want another strength hero right now. MiTH-Trust, on the other hand, that more balanced. All 3 of their heroes can fill a support role, or Rubik and Shadow Shaman can both step up to a sort of semi-carry role by taking the mid position. So their choices are wide open right now.
Yeah, I think they're going to perhaps, Yeah, well, both teams, I would say, do need another form of carry. Whether, like, as you were saying, MSX don't need a huge sort of carry,
Yeah.
but something would be nice. Something like something that has the potential to really wreck face late game. And it is, wow, it's going to be a Tinker. So an Enigma for MiTH-Trust, adding to their team fight potential. Also, you can throw him in the
I
jungle.
was expecting that. They wanted to get a jungler and Enigma with his Black Hole. Black Hole and Ravage at the same time. It's a great combo. The Black Hole goes off, Ravage goes over the top of it. Everyone caught in the Black Hole takes a huge amount of damage before they have a chance to respond.
Oh my god.
My goodness.
Yes! Alright, we've got...
for a long time.
we have certainly got a game here between these two teams. We've got MiTH-Trust with a very cool lineup. We've got the double large AoEs there, of course, from Tidehunter and Enigma. We got Shadow Shaman with his pushing potential with his Serpent Wards, not to mention his various disables he's got. Rubik, of course, with the Spell Steal, can pick up the various skills of the Radiant team there. And then you've got the Alchemist as that sort of very farm-heavy sort of hero who can... You leave him alone for 5 minutes and he'll pick up a whole ton of gold and start just absolutely destroying people once he gets a bit of attack speed up. Of course, when his ultimate is active, he's got a base attack speed of 1 second, which is just huge. So we have got to pause for just a moment here. Starting out on our various components for Team MSX, we've got Hero on the Queen of Pain, we got SPRK on Bounty Hunter, Sparked. I'm just going to go with that. Chicken Rice Now is going to be playing on Earthshaker. We've also got Home on Tinker, and then Tamayo is on Jakiro. Meanwhile, for MiTH-Trust, their lineup at the moment, we've got LK on the Alchemist. TNK is going to take that, no doubt, Jungle Enigma. We've then got R5 playing his support roster. It looks like it's going to be, I doubt he's going to be mid. SD is probably going to take this Rubik mid, and R-Bar with the Tidehunter. I'll be interested to see where Tide goes, because you could kind of have, I don't know. You could kind of have Tide in the bottom, just as that off lane, which I'm assuming he's going to be. And now we've got some pings on the Greevil, just a naked Greevil from whoever this was. Who dropped that down? I don't actually know, but someone didn't get their essences up during Dire Tide.
It's Tide Hunters.
There you go, and another Saphiric, whatever it is, Seraphic, whatever it is. Greevil from MSX. Looks exactly like my one, with the big teeth and then the big horns and all that kind of groovy stuff.
Okay, I don't really like the way these lanes are going. The lanes for MSX sort of wrote themselves, with Tinker going top, Tri-Lane coming bottom, and Queen of Pain mid, or you could rotate the Queen of Pain and the Tinker around for mid and top. It looks as though Tinker is going to go bottom, Queen of Pain mid, and the Tri-Lane going top. And I can see how this works, but it feels like it's reversed, it's the wrong way round. However, the lanes for MiTH-Trust with the Alchemist pickup seem exactly like they should be. Alchemist is top with the support coming from the Shadow Shaman. The mid is going to Rubik. Jungle is going to be taken with the Enigma, and Tidehunter is going to take solo bottom.
Yeah, so it'll be an interesting matchup in that middle. Very, very weird for SD to see what's going on here.
That almost looked like a tri-lane mid, which would have been completely insane.
Yeah.
And now it seems to be possibly turning out more, like I said, with the Earthshaker now coming to help Tinker out again. Not a great thing, really. Tinker really ought to be by himself so he can get all the experience for himself, so he can get to his rearm as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it looks like the Earthshaker just kind of he's gonna sit here and perhaps provide some Fisher support. There it is, with the Fisher just coming out now. He's gonna block off the Tide, but not too well. Tide is gonna get away from that. Not too worried about that small attack from those two. Meanwhile, in top, it looks as if R5 is going to try and catch out this Bounty Hunter, but all is predicted by Bounty, and he's just going to hide in the forest for now, cutting his way through the trees as well. You can actually see the path that he's got to get between all of these trees, which you don't see too often. There is the Sentry Ward. He's actually going to catch him with an unstable concoction, finds the Bounty Hunter, but he's actually just on the edge of where the Sentry Ward can see, so he does leave him alone for the time being. Of course, as we said earlier, if you've got an Alchemist, you want to be farming as much as you can, because this guy can farm like no tomorrow. So,
especially when he reaches his Chemical Rage, his ultimate, he just suddenly goes into full manly mode and rages at people's faces. And yeah, an enraged Alchemist is something no one really wants to see.
Yeah, it looks as if
armed with the Digin and the BKB, and suddenly you have a very angry ogre punch you in the face.
Yeah, it looks like the Shadow Strike going off on the Rubik is a little bit too far away for Bounty to dive on. You don't really want to go too close when this guy can throw out a telekinesis and put you in a bit of trouble, but they are going to go for it anyway. In comes the Fisher from ES, and the Jakiro picking up that kill with the Ice Path. And there is a courier as well. Hero decides to take down the naked Greevil. Not good at all. You don't want to see any Greevil porn around here. That would be crazy. And that is nicely done by MSX to start off this game. But in bottom lane, it looks like Tide has called out the Tinker a little bit, taking a few hits from the March of the Machines. Not too fantastic for either player, taking down all of that damage. But they will both survive for the time being. And I totally forgot to change something in my settings, so...
Yeah. Tinker was very brave to do this alone, because 4 men did rotate round to mid just so they could secure that kill against the Rubik. So he left himself up against a Tide Hunter which has been soloing, and is able to go toe-to-toe, but very closely lost his life for it. But a salve, and he's back up to almost full health, and Shadow Shaman will fall to the Earthshaker at top.
No, Shadow kills the Earthshaker.
Oh,
but then goes down to the Jakiro and the Bounty Hunter. Alchemist is going to get away. It did get a really good unstable concoction on the Bounty and the Earthshaker. And that's what netted them the kill up in the top lane. So they're doing quite nicely, but do you lose the Shadow Shaman in the end? So things are.
I'm still going to say that Earthshaker got that kill, even though it was split as assists 3 ways and he wasn't included as it. So yeah, I stand by my decision. I am completely correct as always. Alchemist now popped level 5. He's got his first level in his acid spray.
Yeah, so he's not going to go for the heavy acid spray kind of builds, but it looks as if he's in a little bit of trouble getting caught out by the Ice Path Dual Breath as well. Bounty is on the hunt here. He's going to try and catch up with him. There is a Fisher as well, and the last hit goes to the Bounty Hunter. So Bounty is getting quite a few of these kills here, which is always nice for him. Allows him to get to level 6 very quickly, as we can see on the last hits and the denies. Alchemist doing quite nicely despite going down there. 27 for over 6. Enigma in the jungle is 25 over 1, so TNK doing a nice job of farming up those creeps. He's got his soul ring and is preparing for the next ring of choice, even though he's just this sort of, you know, ball of energy. Somehow he has fingers still. Meanwhile, in the bottom, Tinker has been doing a good job catching up himself. He's leveling up March and Missiles, of course, and is doing his best to catch all of those last hits, and has got 3 denies, so it's not as if he's totally kept the Tide out of the game, but is doing an okay job, grabbing the odd creep here and there.
He's doing decently. He's not had to really leave the lane, though. Alchemist has had to initiate and throw stuns out onto other heroes, so Tinker hasn't really had to do that much, but he's still, again, it's pretty decent.
Yeah, exactly. At the moment we've got an interesting sort of dual lane middle with Quap and Jakiro. Jakiro just helping out with the odd Ice Path and Dual Breath.
Sorry, it's just going to say that Tinker actually hasn't bought anything since his starting items. He hasn't had any regen at all. So as that stands, he has 1500 gold. He is, sorry, almost 1600. He is about 400 away from completing his Boots of Travel.
That's right, not too far away from that. Of course, it's always going to be good to get those up, and it looks as if we will have a fight in the middle. Tide coming in with his ulti. He's ready for that. Picks up a double kill, is the Tide Hunter of Arbar. Gets that with his haste, always very well and good. Now going after the Jakiro as well, sensing when the Ice Path is coming out, throwing out the Anchor Smash as well. It looks as if he will get the kill, and that is a triple.
Yeah, triple kill.
Huge triple kill from the Tide Hunter. Very nicely done by him.
And he does a little dance as he teleports out.
He certainly does.
That's what we like to see. Yeah, great Ravage. Was able to catch out two of those heroes retreating. One Anchor Smash killed them both. And then he was able to juke around with Jakiro because he had a haste rune. So he was able to even dodge the Icy Path as it was landing because his move speed was so great that he could actually go into bullet time in the Matrix and dodge out of it. And yeah, Jakiro tried to run away.
At the top we got another attempt to kill here. Bounty Hunter getting caught out just as the runes, oh sorry, not as the runes, the ward is about to disappear, but he was able to get out of there. In fact, I'm sorry, that is the Radiant ward, so it wasn't even detecting him. But I think there was another Dire ward here, which was giving them a bit of vision.
Two wards. There was one here and another one here to this left-hand side, and now both are gone.
That's right, but here we go. It looks as if he will be caught out again. There is the unstable concoction. Will he get in range? No, he won't. He's now getting hit by his own dose of medicine, and the Bounty Hunter will escape. So a couple of just sort of misplaced ganks there from MiTH at the moment, but still doing nicely. It is 4-4. Tide, of course, doing quite nicely. He has his arcane boots. He's got a stout shield as well. He's clearing out these creeps down in the bottom lane so that Tinker cannot pull them again. Of course, you want to try and make sure that your opponent in the bottom lane cannot pull out the creeps to try and slow down the push of these creeps. So to do that, either you can throw up some observer wards or you can go and kill the creeps yourself. Looks like we got another attack in the middle. Bounty Hunter tracking that Rubik is going to get the going to get a couple of hits on him. There is a Fisher, and it looks like the bounty goes down. Yeah, let's check it. Blocked him in and then went down to the tower. Yeah, gets him with the assistance of that tower as well.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, looks like Tinker did try and get that bottom lane pushed out, but now he's got his boots of travel. Here we go with the Merlini style, crazy pushing everywhere and everything. So he's going to start bouncing around each of the lanes. He's going to throw out a march of machines. Looks like he's the next destination is that top lane. Just going to throw one of those out, refresh everything, and then head back to base to get some more mana. Or perhaps he's just going to stay around, grab some of these creeps, get some of that XP, which is all nice.
He hasn't bought a bottle yet. He does have the gold for it. A bottle would really help with his mana, keep him in the lane slightly longer. But as he's doing right now, it's fine. He just rearms, teleports back to space, rearms, does something else. Lots of potential to do stuff.
Yeah, and we've got Tide going in. He actually puts down a Ravage and catches a Bounty Hunter. That was a nice little grab by Arbar on the Tide Hunter. Despite being tracked, despite being attacked by the Bounty, he was able to take him out. Looks as if the black hole here from TNK catches out the Jakiro and gets rid of him. It looks like the Alchemist also threw out the Unstable Concoction just in case of emergency as well. Chicken Rice now is just throwing out the odd Fisher, just trying to see if he can bring down that Alchemist, but of course he's a big fellow and does not get taken down lightly. So things are, things are starting to sort of head the way of MiTH-Trust as we look at the gold graph at the moment, going down to 3,000 gold difference at the moment for the XP. Of course, we can see that MiTH is really leading the way there with over 5,000 in XP bonus on top of the other team. And that, of course, goes towards the multiple kills they've gotten. Of course, Tied with 4-0. We've got, and then we've also got the Rubicon 3-3, which is also helping them out. Looks like Queen of Pain takes down the who was that went down? The Enigma.
Enigma.
Getting
a couple
caught
of
out
screams
there.
And a couple of right clicks, and Enigma doesn't really have that sort of potential to stand up. He's only got Oh, he's got 7 armor, but even so, Queen of Pain with all of her right click, it's too much at this point in the game.
And look at that, the Bounty Hunter catching out the Shadow Shaman just behind enemy lines. It looks as if the rest of the team came across to try and help out with that as well. And they're going to try and take down this tower. It gives them a little bit more map presence, means that the Alchemist cannot free farm as easily as he would like to. But here comes the Tide, TP in, coming in is another TP as well. He's got the Invisor, and they do not know he's there right now. He doesn't actually have his ulti at the moment though, still 30 seconds on that and needs a bit more mana as well. But they do get a couple of kills. Tide taking down the Queen of Pain. Looks like Bounty Hunter is also going down, and looks, well, MiTH-Trust turning things around at this top lane.
Great stun from the Alchemist. He put a minimum level unstable concoction off and forces the Tinker to walk back home. Or walk back at least past the tower till he can rearm. Stops him from TPing out, and if he had a couple of more heroes behind him, that could have been a kill on the Tinker.
Looks like this top tower is going to go down. MiTH-Trust coming to the aid of their own top tower and then bringing the pain onto MSX. Going to get rid of this one quite easily. Actually, I'm a little bit surprised that the Alchemist did not grab that one. At the moment, he's sitting on a Vanguard and a Ring of Health, and of course his treads. The Enigma, as we can see, has got Tranquil Boots and a Soul Ring along with some dust. And for the Tide, of course, he's got his Arcane Boots that he got pretty quickly, but we will have another fight. He's got his Blink. He blinks in and throws down the Ravage. That was absolutely huge stuff there. So Tide is providing so much for MiTH-Trust right now.
Yep, if you ever want to see how a professional player plays Tidehunter really well, this is your masterclass right now. Blink, Ravage, catches 2 heroes off guard, easy pickoffs, and then he TPs out to safety again, and he's given his team mana and two less heroes to contend this tower with.
Yeah, exactly. But MiTH still trying to push this top lane. Ice Path goes out from the Jakiro. Dual Breath cleaning up some of these creeps along with the March of the Machines as well, just providing a bit of damage. One lone Eidolon is left, but he then slowly disappears as well. Just looking at the vision for both of these teams, as we can see, the Observer Ward covering a nice portion of this top section here for... that's for MiTH. Of course, they can see just sort of this area, which is quite nice to be able to control. They've also got a bit of vision over these Ancients here, along with just that sort of section of the path, which they can keep an eye on. And along with that, they also had a little bit in... where was that other one? I think they had another one down here somewhere. But,
they had one watching that room, but that has since timed out, as this one up by the Ancient camp is about to time out as well.
It's true.
That one was a decent ward as well, because it stops any stacking occurring at that ward at that point. I'm liking this ward. This is, I think it's a relatively new position found out, but it still has all of the giant vision that it has here, but it still spots this room. And I adore Tidehunter.
Yeah, Tidehunter hunting down that Bounty Hunter, doing a great job of catching him out. Of course, really doing well with his Gush, of course, and the Anchor Smash, really doing heaps and heaps of damage.
And Enigma was able to kill off the Earthshaker at the bottom lane. He did use his Black Hole to secure that kill, but it's a kill nonetheless. And now they're having a good go at the bottom lane. Jakiro from the side throws out the Icy Path, hits on no one. Teleport comes in for the Queen of Pain, goes to Scream. Sonic Wave goes out on the Enigma, and it looks as though they go to chase. Return fire from the Rubik after getting shackled up by their Shadow Shaman. She goes down.
There is the Tide.
Blink and a double kill for the Tidehunter.
This Tide is absolutely on fire. He's now going to try and chase down that Quap as well. She's in a little bit of danger, has enough mana to blink, but unfortunately was on... was that on cooldown? I don't know what happened there, but he stuck around and suffered the pain of it, and now, in fact, the Tinker also comes to the party and does not have a license, so he gets out and is taken down. Looks like the Bounty Hunter coming in to try and get a kill on that the Alchemist, but very quick reactions there from SD, and he is able to kill the Bounty. Has he actually stolen?
He did not, he just put a failed bolt through him. Tidehunter have just noticed his kills to death. He's godlike. He's 9 for 0. as a support.
It's pretty good. Off-lane Tide, of course, you get those very quick levels, and I suppose when you're against the Tinker, until Tinker has a little bit more mana, he's not really going to be able to be too threatening, so nicely
he still
done.
doesn't have a bottle. He does have a Soul Ring, but no bottle, which is really surprising for a Tinker. Even if you're not playing mid, if you're playing solo, you really should get the bottle. It just provides mana regen, health regen, and it keeps you in the lane longer, which is really where you want to be.
Well, that's the thing. He's sort of playing this much in the Machines version where you're just sort of bouncing around the lanes. It's not as if he has to stick around for too long. He just sort of needs to throw out a couple of marches and a missile or two if needed, but then he can go back home. So I can kind of understand why he doesn't have one now. Like, I mean, it's 15 minutes, and unless he's actively trying to control the runes, I don't think he's really going to make full usage of that bottle, considering that you're at the fountain more than you're not. But either way, looks as if Myth are going to push in again with the Eidolons throwing out some damage. The Serpent Wards also doing a lot to that tower. Looks like Earthshaker trying to come in from the side. Somehow, Bounty Hunter gets blocked out by the Fisher, and he didn't see that coming. I thought that was a bit of a weird situation. And Echo Slam from Chicken Rice. Chicken Rice now does not actually get him a kill, but it does help out with taking down the Rubik and the Enigma, and then the Shadow Shaman. So the support's all going down, sort of the very heavy int-based supports all go down for MiTH-Trust, and only the bounty goes down.
Being tracked up, you can't kill the Tide Hunter. He's just too good. He's now sitting at 10 for nil. He is beyond godlike.
Yeah, he is. He's going to be insane.
This is a decent fight for MSX. They had the potential to lose it and then lose their tower in mid, and then suddenly they turned it around. Great Echo Slam from Earthshaker. I think that's the first in the game that we've seen, but it went down, hit on virtually all of them, I think, and they came out with 3 kills at the end of that fight. So yeah, really good fight for them.
Yeah, not too bad at all from MSX, doing a nice job trying to bring that back. As we can see on the kill tally, we've got MSX at 15 kills to the 23 of Myth at the moment. Looks as if they have found the courier, and the Naked Greevil goes down yet again. That is 2 Greevil deaths here for Myth. It looks like they're going to try and catch the Alchemist, but I tell you what, that guy has got 1400 health.
Chicken. That could have been a trade chicken for chicken. Everyone has gold, but nobody has items. The Greevil was only bringing something out to the Queen of Pain. I'm not sure what it was. It might have been the Ogre Club. Looks like she's going for Aghanim Scepter. But there's a smoke on that courier. Wondering who owns that. It's Tamario, who is the Jakiro.
As you can see, the Alchemist really taking up. He's currently got a Vanguard up. He's also got a Pipe as well. And he's really starting to beef up with his HP sitting at 1400. In fact, 2000 when he's got his ultimate activated, so he doesn't really care about anything.
Nope, not really. Having a quick look through the items, Enigma is going towards his BKB. Tide Hunter has a gem up now, as well as finished a mechanism. Rubik still has a bottle, a blink dagger, arcane boots, and 2 branches. He might want to do something, maybe get... never mind, Alchemist has the pipe and the Vanguard, as well as the power treads.
Yep.
I'm going to stop right now. It looks as though Myth are going to attempt Roshan, and they might get it as well, because there is no vision for the Radiant side of this going on.
There is. They've got track on the Alchemist. He just walks in, doesn't care at all. Meanwhile, Tinker off to the side is hunted down by that Rubik.
They can just about see, and as well as a creep wave getting pulled in there.
Not good at all. Looks like with the Rubik blink and the Tide Hunter blink, there is so much movement here for MiTH-Trust, and they're just catching out heroes left, right, and center.
Alchemist throws out the stun on Chikiro, so when he's brought back down to the ground by Rubik's telekinesis, the force of it actually kills him. So that's one way of doing it, I suppose. Be able to kill off him and the Tinker in that, as well as get the Aegis onto the Alchemist. So yeah, ward going up in the middle of the lane. It looks as though they're prepping the tier 2 tower in mid. Oh, Tide Hunter just about caught out the Queen of Pain, but she was able to blink away and escape, and now the Bounty Hunter's escaped as well, so no kills up there on the top lane.
Tried to get him, but he did get away. Looks like MSX have to prepare to defend this middle base here. Of course, the acid spray providing quite a lot of damage there, and that is not nice to stand in at all. Meanwhile, as we can see, the bounty hunter looks to be heading towards a BKB to make sure he's protected against that very, very dangerous combo of the black hole and the fissure. Meanwhile, in middle, looks like the alchemist getting a little bit caught out. He had track on him and the fissure as well, but he's not going to be too worried. As we mentioned before, it looks like there is the blink in. Telekinesis to initiate. Stun on the Quap, and she goes down just as she lands. And Tide looking to put up the Ravage. I saw him do that little start of the animation where he crosses his arms and gets ready to throw out those spikes, but did not actually want to do it. And looks as if the middle tower of MSX is in quite a lot of trouble.
Macropie going down, Tinker being brought back into it, Fissers going out, Alchemist getting caught in the middle of the ice path, Enigma coming right to the forward, gets no one in the black hole, Ravage will still go off and catch someone out. I think it killed 3 heroes out, but Rubik was only able to get a kill from someone out the side. Alchemist will now take a fall, Aegis will go off, Hex goes off, and Shadow Shaman is able to kill off the Earthshaker. And that's the end of that, though. They retreat out, they've taken the tower, they've killed a couple of heroes, they've lost the Aegis, but they haven't lost the heroes, so MiTH are going to be quite happy with that fight.
Certainly are. Yeah, it's kind of really starting to lean the way of MiTH-Trust at the moment. Of course, their Tide is doing a fantastic job sitting up there at 10 kills and no deaths. He's farming up a Storm. As you mentioned, he's got his mech, he's got his Blink and the Arcane Boots, not to mention the Gem to help out. Of course, he's currently got 2,200 gold, so he's more than willing to... He's just sort of farm up and get prepared, obviously, for a buyback just in case, or perhaps his next level item.
Yeah. Refresher up is 5,300. Just saying. Double Ravage.
Still quite a while away, but he certainly could do it the way he's been playing in this game. Shakira with the DD, not really going to do too much, of course, but if he was doing the Duckville Battle Jakiro build, he'd be an absolute champion right now. Looks like in top, Tinker almost caught out. Huh?
You just smash him in the face, that's all you do.
Exactly. The old Battle Jakiro.
Okay. Throws out the icy path, however they dodged and went east. Blink coming in, Gush goes out on him, slowing his speed. Anchor smash, right click, Hex, right click, and shot from the Shadow Shaman finishes the deal.
Nicely done. Meanwhile, Alchemist across to the side, getting Force-Staffed out to try and get him out of danger, but a little bit too late, but his Unstable Concoction did go off, which of course affects the heroes that are around it. Meanwhile, across to the side, Bounty Hunter is also caught out. Tide Hunter gets... No, he doesn't get the kill. The Shadow Shaman gets the kill on that Bounty, and MiTH-Trust really starting to assert their dominance in this game right now.
Yeah, Tide Hunter came in the back of that fight and sniped off the Earthshaker after Rubik returned the Echo Slam, which finished off the Alchemist. So that could have gone better for MSX, but it could have gone a whole lot worse. They only lost 2 heroes in that, I think. Let's see. Yeah, they only lost the 2 heroes.
It was 3.
3? Yeah. I see 2.
Jakiro.
They lost Jakiro as well with his cooldown. He was able to come back into the fight. It looks so they're a little unsure with what to do. The Aegis is the Aegis has already popped, but they're waiting 5 minutes for Roshan. So what to do now? They're looking as though they just want to go straight down the middle.
And more kills coming up. Looks like they will. They almost caught out that Quap. She has to get out of there quick smart because there was the telekinesis blink initiation from the Rubik. Meanwhile, just throwing down the odd track there to keep an eye on where that Tide Hunter is going. You want to see where this guy is. He's a very important hero to keep a track of because he's almost up to his next item, and it does look like he might be heading towards that refresher.
Yeah, he's level 17. He has 3 points in his Ravage, which means his cooldown is still 150, but his damage is 450 for every Ravage, and he has a Blink Dagger. So he can be what you feel is like halfway across the map, and then suddenly he's right up in your face, and you have a tentacle tickling your backdoor passage, and
Bit of a problem there. He actually just completely missed a Ravage just down in the top lane. They were trying to catch out a couple of heroes that were nearby the tower, but just completely missed the whole thing there. So he's not going to be happy about that. But realistically, it's not going to mean too much in the scheme of things. Of course, it does not destroy their team fight potential if they lose a Ravage, because of the fact that they've got so much else. And here it comes, with the black hole catching out the bounty hunter just before he dies. Sonic Wave coming out from the co-op. The Jakira also caught in the end of the black hole there as well. And Alchemist is chasing after everyone like he's a hungry Jabba the Hutt. And it looks like the Shadow Shaman will take a fall to the Fisher of Earthshaker. But I tell you what, Alchemist is starting to get into that mode where he just starts stomping over everyone because he's starting to hit so hard. He's got 3k gold, and we'll certainly be looking for some sort of damaging item next, or perhaps an attack speed item next as well.
I'd like to see what he goes for next. You might see that cleave. You might see the cleave coming out. It is possible.
Yeah.
And
but TNK actually caught out now.
This is cute on the Tinker. He's learned from Diatide. He's bought a Dagon level 1. He's also got an ultimate orb now, so he's looking for a side of ice as well as his Dagon.
just able to throw out a bit more damage there with the Dagon. It's not often that you see it. It is something that is used from time to time, but I mean, it's.
I wonder what does more damage, his laser or his Dagon? 320. No, the Dagon does more. It's 320 for a level 4 laser. It's 400 burst damage for a level 1 Dagon. So
certainly does help.
Yeah, it's just a slightly more magic-y laser, basically.
Magic-y. I love it.
Yeah.
Alright, well, we've got
magic.
MiTH-Trust trying to push down through, just rotating down to bottom. Looks as if they may try and push this lane further out. Of course, Enigma has been pushing it himself with a few of these Eidolons, just getting a bit more of that damage going up, and Alchemist is going to clear up the rest. He's sitting on 4.6k gold. He's farming up a storm right now. I think it is going to be just straight to a Mjolnir for him.
And on the courier we have plate mail. We have an assault cuirass.
Aha!
Full assault cuirass on the courier.
There's the Ravage from Tide. He catches out one of the heroes. It's just a Jakira, but he will be able to follow up, perhaps get the Jakira here, but no. But either way, the Queen of Pain goes down. Jakira does get killed in the end, and it looks like the Earthshaker is coming in to try and see what he can do, but the Tide is just so tanky with his bottle, with his mech, with the heals from from one of his other teammates there as well, is able to stay alive, and it looks as if MiTH-Trust are going to continue on with this push into the bottom lane.
Yep, 4 heroes down for MSX and no heroes down at all for Myth. I was thinking they were just going to keep pushing each lane until they could take Roshan again or get a quick snipe of a tower. They've got their opportunity right now. And what a tower they want to take. It's a tier 3 tower. 3 heroes are still down. They're going for barracks and nothing can stop them.
Apart from a Tinker. Perhaps if Tinker can throw out a few more March of the Machines, they might be able to keep their hopes alive with this bottom racks. And as we can see, Quap's back, Earthshaker's back, and they're going to help out.
Even though the tower's fallen, if the barracks still stand, it's not game over. There's still plenty to play for.
That's exactly right. But there is that the AC being delivered to the Alchemist, of course. If there is anything you want to increase on this guy, it's his attack speed, as we mentioned earlier on in the game. Now with that extra...
There is Roshan.
Yep.
Right on cue, as soon as they stop attacking the barracks and the tower, Roshan respawns, and still only the second one, so no cheese, but there should be plenty. Just pop that straight onto the Alchemist, who has finally gotten rid of that Quelling Blade. He's put it on the floor, couldn't be bothered to sell it. And wow, the right click damage for that, just how quick his attack speed is.
Pretty impressive. So we've now got, of course, at the moment, we've now got some very, very deadly items up on these heroes. We've got the Tide Hunter with a Refresher, going to help him out with the double ulti. We have a Rubik with Blink and Force Staff, of course, those really high mobility builds used by quite a lot of people in the pro scene who play Rubik. You've got Assault Cuirass on the Alchemist, and then of course the Shadow Shaman is looking to get his BKB next as well. But so MiTH-Trust looking to try and catch out a hero of somewhere of MSX, but
what they don't know is that they're going for a push race. They have 3 heroes for the Radiant side up in the top lane, and they're trying to take a tier 3 at the same time they're trying to take barracks. So we're looking for the base race scenario.
Not going to happen though. Turn around from MSX.
5 against 2. So everyone has to turn around and teleport back. Tinker buys back into the game to be on the front lines. Macropire, Ravage, right
There's
click,
a refresher.
ultimate form, refresher orb, yes! So that's a double Ravage. Alchemist in his right click form, just able to take down, give him the old chop chop. Wow, 45 seconds on his ultimate. I didn't realise it was that quick.
Yep.
Earthbreaker takes out Tidehunter. He finally falls, but at what cost?
So Tide does go down. Enigma as well is also the target of the Bounty Hunter, so he's going to try and escape for now, but looks like the Alchemist is so tanky with the assistance of those Serpent Wards as well. He's able to do quite a lot of damage, charging up the Unstable Concoction. Here we go. Bam! And here we go. Watch this.
Telekinesis, Icy Path, right click, steals, and dies.
Yeah, so Rubik not doing the, not having the greatest of times there, but Alchemist says, screw you guys, I'm taking the Rax, and does get rid of that annoyance in that bottom lane. So now we have a Rax down in the bottom lane of MSX, meaning MiTH-Trust have really started to gain just a huge lead in this game.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the gold and the experience graph are looking like. MSX did take out 4 of the heroes from MiTH-Trust, including the Tidehunter, who until that point did not die a single time, so he's going to be worth a huge amount of gold. The only person to survive was Alchemist, who did take down the final barracks in the bottom lane.
Hasn't really changed too much, as we can see on the experience graph at the moment. 25k in front are MiTH, and they're also 20k in front in the gold as well, so not really too much changing at the moment. I wouldn't really expect it to until perhaps another team fight where it really goes the way of MSX. But yeah, you know, a couple of kills there, not too bad for MSX, but I feel as though they are just being outclassed a little bit here by MiTH-Trust.
Yes, it appears as though they're running out of time. You can still get by with 1 barracks down, but especially with the Tinker, who's able to teleport back and deal with it as often as needed. But as soon as you start getting to that realm where you're about to lose your second Rax as well, then things become a bit more different. 1 Rax you can deal with, 2 sets of Rax, then it becomes a very big uphill battle.
Yeah. As you can see, it's really just as you said, a matter of time at the moment for MSX. They've got the bottom lane is being pushed by the big creeps down here. Quap is going to try and come across and downsize the number of units in there, but there are so many that she's going to have to expend a couple of her Screams of Pain. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, MiTH-Trust not letting this go, still continuing to press the issue here. Alchemist prepared to go. His heart is on the way. He's already got a Reaver providing him with that extra strength and HP. And he's just going to stand here in a March of the Machines and take all sorts of damage because, you know what, he can. With the regen, that insane as it is when he's in his ultimate, and his attack damage just going off the charts here. And there is a Tide blinking in, and he gets a double Ravage. Huge stuff there. Blinking from the Enigma. Enigma with the black hole finishing off 2 of those remaining heroes from MSX, and that is probably it, I would say. There is no real way. There's no buybacks for any of MSX at all. They've got no gold and no real time on some of their heroes as well. So they're done effectively. It looks as if there will be that quick little rotation, and there is a GG from MSX.
Yep, very convincing fashion. I said refresher orb, there it is. Ravage into black hole. It's even better than just Ravage into black hole. It happened twice. Double Ravage.
Exactly right.
Some nice manners coming out. Good luck in the next game. Yeah, really decent fight. Really impressive way to end the game with that team fight. Just Alchemist. he has enough to finish the Heart. He has the Vanguard, the Assault Cuirass. He's insane attack speed. And he just stood in the middle of that and said, you know what, I have 3,000 health and an Aegis. I think I might be able to survive this. And so he stood his ground in the middle of a macro fire, I think a double march of the machines, and then he eventually got slowed down after he got stunned from an icy path. It's been a pain trying to micro all of the heroes at once, and almost got away with it.
Almost.
But there we go. The Ancient is halfway down, third of the way down, quarter of the way down, anchor smash. And there we go, the Ancient falls. GG, dire victory.
And there we go. So, our I suppose you could say the second game that we've watched from MiTH-Trust, where they've just sort of, you know, things haven't gone completely the way of them right from the start. They had a little bit of edginess right at the start there, as Doc is dying right now. But they, you know, once things started snowballing out of control, the tide just started, you know, really going their way, to not use a tide pun at all. Of course, I would say probably, you know, the best player, most efficient player on MiTH-Trust easily would have been that Tide Hunter, coming in for those various Ravages, picking up kills left, right, and center, going beyond godlike from the start. I don't know. I'd say I don't know. It's kind of hard to say which who sort of played really well from MSX. I mean, it was sort of across the board. There was no real standout person who really sort of helped the team the most there. I think I think some of Jakira's Ice Pass were really good, but in the end, without the Tinker kind of really dominating that bottom lane against the Tide or anything like that, and then some of the troubles they had in middle, it sort of just cost them the game there at the end. But you know, still not too bad from both teams there.
Yeah, definitely Tide Hunter man of the match there, with a very impressive